Hello everyone, my name is MIGO, and today I'm going to be reacting to my demo, my WEBTOON demo called Dear Demo. Dear Chapter 1 demo if you want to be particular. So, I am going to put on pause the reactions, or I am going to be putting on pause the talks about my series because they're not getting any views, they're very long to edit, and I want to give you guys consistent videos. Okay, so for today, I am going to be reacting to my comic. 3, 2, 1, let's get into it. So this is the cover of Dear that I made before. Obviously, I'm just going to put myself on a little screen in the corner. So this is going to be very low editing just so I can push this video out. But the reason why I'm doing this is because you guys just generally have not seen it, and I want to show it to you guys. Sorry, I'm fumbling. Okay, Dear by MIGO. The day just began, and in the very same moment, and ended it. I'm already messing up. Okay. So this character right here is supposed to be Topman, the main character. This was before his design change. He's sleeping, which is why we have the Z's. And that little thing under him that kind of looks like the Nimbus cloud was supposed to be his pillow. But his pillow won't be a regular pillow because if you have seen the series, or the first video of me explaining is out, so if you guys have seen it, you would know he lives in a treehouse. He doesn't have pillows. This is more like sap pillows. And ended in the very same moment. Okay, so let me explain this right here. Obviously, the treehouse is made of the grandfather, so originally it was gonna have like, the wood was gonna have like wood and bones just sticking out of it to show the pain. And those birds sitting on top of the wooden wall was supposed to be on the outside. So you see Topman's eye over here was supposed to be looking at some type of window or like a crack through the wall. And then he was gonna see the birds. Now, the world was originally just going to have, you know, like Avatar, you know, messed up animals. And it still is going to have, like, abundance of different creatures so I can build on my world building. But not in this degree. Or maybe. But it's supposed to be, like, battery-powered birds of bloody, well, no, not really bloodied, but liquid. Like, you know the battery liquid? If batteries have liquid, just coming out of its eyes. I don't know, I thought the design was cool. And here we are guys, to the QR code. Now, I don't know how many people are gonna watch this video, but yeah, that is the that is the QR code to take you to the video, the music video. And the lyrics that you will see: shout out to the lies that try to catch me so badly. Catch me at your own risk. Okay, now, okay, here. Let me explain this panel. So Topman has just rose out of his bed. This was his bed. And he saw the birds there. Now, I haven't seen this demo in a while, but there it is right there. These are wooden teeth, and on the outside, that blue is the outside. It's a mouth, but the teeth are made of wood, and the red, that's a tongue. You see that? You see this right here? That's a tongue. His floor is the tongue. It's body parts of wood just splattered everywhere. You know? Give me pen, give me paper, give me a goth punk to cry about later. This was going to be the original lyrics, basically the chorus. I even hired a Fiverr guy to do the music for me. Anyway, thanks for reading Dear. If you like what you see, please consider supporting on Ko-fi. Oh, hold up. Please consider supporting on Ko-fi. And you guys can still, support on Ko-fi. Anyway, next chapter, episode number 2. Let me get some water. This is about to be a long video, but it's just a reaction video, so don't expect too much. Once again, we have the title, Dear by MIGOverse being me. And he's walked out, Topman has walked out of his room, his mouth room, to walk down this tongue-like stairs. So, I don't know, maybe full screen me for this, but yeah, so this is the tongue stairs. And on the walls, you see our hearts. That's the uvula. The thing at the back of your throat. Those are like little heart picture frames. And they were originally going to have pictures in them, like actual pictures of Topman and the grandfather growing up. Anyway, we have steps, and I feel like I want to talk about the character design right now. He's in his pajamas, and he was supposed to stay within his pajamas for the entirety of the series. It's a little symbolic because he's getting on this cool, ready adventure and he's still in his PJs. Anyway, once again, we have the lyrics. Give me pen, give me paper, give me wait a second, listen. Wait for a second. Those are the lyrics. Topman is sighing, so I was hoping the audience was gonna realize, oh hey, he's super tired, He just got out of bed and he's walking downstairs. He walks down the stairs to then see his pets. Yeah, and guess what his pets are? A rabbit, a snake, and a bear. I'll let you guys who watched the first video, here's the first video thumbnail, understand what that means, because it has meaning. Some of you are just not watching the videos. But yeah, basically we have a mountain bear here. The bear has mountain tops on his back. We have a one-eyed rabbit. Topman is sitting down, and this was supposed to be his food bowl. This was supposed to be his food bowl. And the snake obviously has wings, which is very different. My mouth's so dirty, I can't disguise the smell of burnt paper. I mean, play the song in the background. This is all me. This is all my lyrics, my instrumentals, and just someone else's voice. Because I can't sing. Anyway, this little corner here is him eating his own breakfast. So he's walked down the stairs, he's given breakfast to the pets, and then he's gone ahead and made himself some food. And he's munching. And that's the end of the second episode. This is all one continuous thing, just 2 panel episodes. Anyway, next is more lyrics, and right now he's cleaning the food the dishes that he just ate from. So Topman is cleaning the dishes that he just ate from. And here we see that he is 19 years old. You can tell he's cleaning. Or I would have hoped so, but I guess my composition and stuff like that wasn't as good back then. But yeah, that's a sponge. That's the cup he was drinking from. And Those are soap bubbles, blue soap bubbles. And yes, his pajama is a shark because he's dangerous. And going over Topman's design a little bit more, I'm not sure if you guys realize, but he has no torso. He's a skeleton with a head. That concept obviously got dropped, but it was interesting at the time. I'm not going to keep going over the lyrics, but in this scene right here, he's in the bathroom brushing his teeth after he's had breakfast. So it's a continuous just morning routine that we're seeing. Now this was supposed to be free. It was supposed to be 3 different scenes. Firstly, of him really close up to his mirror. As you can see, he has a mirror there. He's brushing his teeth. And, okay, let's talk about the room a little bit, okay? It was supposed to be 3 scenes. Let me talk about the room. So, the chandelier, or the light source, is 5 heads. Conjoint heads. There are hands and boils coming off of the wall, and it's not very visual here, but there's like dripping water or some kind of liquid dripping from the ceiling. Once again, this is all the grandfather's mutated body. So I wanted to show off just how messed up this house is, really. The next one is a zoom out. Now, this one was kind of hard to do, just given the fact that it wasn't supposed to be this way, but I'll try and go over the art style right here. So, this is obviously a zoomed out version of the bathroom. As you can see, the same art is there, but now it's just red. So it's supposed to be the exact same art style, just a little bit zoomed out, so we can see that there is no mirror. What you're seeing is, if I had to describe it with, like, blocks or something. If I had to describe it with, like, things around me right now, the bathroom is here. Alright, this is where Topman is. This is the ceiling of the bathroom. And as you can see, this hand, or what I am, is supposed to be the background there, but there's no wall here. It's an open space, and in that open space was supposed to be the where Topman is in the house. It was supposed to be a very scary look on what the outside of the house was supposed to look like, because up till now we've just had a bunch of I mean, if we can go back for a little bit, we've had tongues on stairways. We've had eyeball tables. Like, the floor is all red. We have teeth windows. We have like sap pillows and eyeball walls which have bones coming out of them. So very clearly you can tell that something is just not okay here. Something is not okay. And yeah, this was supposed to be like a zoom out shot. And that, okay, let me detail everything going on here. So that little teeth there with the hole is supposed to be, well, the teeth. This image to the side is the house. And the arrow pointing to the window, that's where Topman is currently right now. As you can see, there's like some heads spouting from the walls. And that big hand there is supposed to represent the hand to the right as well, because it's the same location, just zoomed in. I hope that made at least a little bit of sense, but basically on the right is how it looks, and the image that takes up most of the panel is the zoomed in version, which is also the zoomed out version of what we just saw. Anyway, now we have Topman walking through the rest of the house, and this is where you see the pure chaos of what's happening within this household. Still, the main point was that you guys had no explanation of what was happening. There's just a song playing in the background, and it was supposed to be Topman's theme song as you guys go through this this matrix of a house. Anyway, as you can clearly see, there are teeth doors on the side. There's an eyeball on one of the walls. That's the same tongue staircase going to a different location. It has floors with a splitting in it. And, I mean, we can't ignore the elephant in the room. There's a whole skeleton skull just floating within a sea within the house. There is just a whole ocean, because you know the body is made up of 70% water. This is the water. There's a whole ocean within here, and a skull floating through the ocean. This house is supposed to be so magical. But yeah, sticking on this, there is a whole skull which is stylized to look like one of those Spanish skulls. I actually am pretty uneducated on my lore of this, so I don't know off the top of my head. But I feel like you guys will know like what culture this comes from and maybe some cultural significance. But for me, it just looked really cool at the time. Anyway, this part of the song is like, you know, Eminem type shit. And here we see Topman in his fullest form. So this is what Topman actually looks like. He's a head on a skeleton. His arms are bony. His head is an exposed skull. He has scars and eerie details all over his face. He has cuts and he has no eye. I think you guys can clearly see that this is not. He has blood on his fingers here. That's supposed to be blood, exposed blood, just on his fingers. And obviously he has towels, because the very next thing he did after he brushed his teeth in the morning routine was he went to take a bath. And now he's come out of said bath. So this is just an outside. Inside one of those doors, the teeth doors, is the same area from last time. aka here, where he went to brush his teeth. He then went to go take a bath. And afterwards, he dressed up again in his pajamas, which is tattered. It's basically near destroyed. It has stitches all over it and everything. Obviously, you can go support Kofi. Thank you very much. Anyway, now this is a hallway, another hallway just filled with eyeballs. And behind him is a rib cage. Doors locked from reality. His doors locked from reality. Screenshot from next thing gone. Anyway, that's just a little bit of the song. Let me explain. So after he's got himself ready, now he's walking down this hallway. Okay, well, you'll see what it is soon. But he's walking towards this door. Now, I was hoping from an audience point of view that you guys would be excited because you didn't know what was really going on in the story at this point. And all of these episodes came out at the same time, so you wouldn't have to wait. It was all the same time. But basically, there's let me explain. So the story so far is that Topman has woken up, he's gotten ready, he's fed his pet, he's fed himself, he's brushed his teeth, washed the dishes, taken a bath, got himself dressed, and he's walking towards the door. He's done all this preparation for the day with the theme song playing in the background. And now he's finally walking towards the door with what seems to be a tray of food. Well, right now it's a tray. Kind of looks like a pizza box. But obviously he's walking towards the door. And this was just supposed to be another shot of the house. Not really related. But it's supposed to be a mouth with teeth which has been boarded up by wood and it's drooling saliva. But let's go on to the main bit here, where the song finally finishes. Well, I think it's a little bit after this. But he's opened the door all the way fully and the light shines on him. I'm not sure if that was very clear here, but he's opened the door from the previous episode and the light has finally shined on his face. And from there, we finally get our first clue of what he was walking towards. His grandfather. Sitting on an eyeball in his room. And this was supposed to be not only the end of the song, but just a big reveal of what he was trying to do all morning. Get ready. This is still part of his morning routine. He's opened the door, his grandfather's laying on the eyeball. And talking about the grandfather's design, I think there's a bare picture of him somewhere else. Okay, now this is me trying to, get some fans, get some support for what I was doing. So I guess we'll take a little ad break now and talk about what is there. A personal project started by me, MIGO. I originally made the concept in 2022. There is a choose your own story split into 2 parts. As of writing this, part 1 has 72 endings, planned out with plot developments, foreshadowing and all that. Good writing juice, the good writing stuff. In terms of fully realized scripts, I'm currently halfway done. There also incorporates rap. If you haven't noticed, with the 6 videos or 6 episodes. Which was, there also incorporates rap. Was also, it was accompanied with there was accompanied with a YouTube rap. Okay, which was especially made for there. I didn't just take this rap, I made it. Okay, so boom, and that's obviously the cover of the song. Support is also needed on Ko-fi. Now the original goal was that maybe if I got a big enough audience, you guys would be able to pay little bit, and eventually, once I made £350 per month through monthly subscriptions on my Ko-fi, then eventually I would turn this into a full-blown series. That plan has obviously changed, since I don't want you guys really to pay anything, but hey, if you want, I'm not going to stop you. This way you can see the comic more often and with better quality. I promise, okay? Some new illustrations for this with the grandfather. Okay. The full comic volume 1 is free on WEBTOON, okay? That's what I'm also currently trying to do now. Volume 1 is 10 chapters. Those 10 pages consist of 358 plus pages. It truly, honestly does. It consists of so many pages, those first 10 chapters, bro. A secondary comic. Yeah, you also got a secondary comic called Irrationally Irrational. And this is a little preview. Some our characters, Topman and the grandfather, running around showing off the preview. And this was the preview of Irrationally Irrational. Now this image here, I mean, you're going to have to flip it around or something, but it is an image of basically the world being destroyed. There is this giant person going from the edge of the planet, putting what seems to be a giant rock or meteor way into the earth. And this being obviously has multiple arms because it's stretching out the moon, and eyeballs is coming out of the moon. Stitches, eyeballs, eyelashes, it's grotesque. But anyway, moving onwards, look up and you see the characters on this this comic saying look up, and then it's, what is that? And it's a giant ass, like, it's the alien from before, right? Holding up the earth in the palm of their hand. I need another water. Yeah, bad. Anyway, this creature is holding up Earth with the palm of their hand, right? And the people in the background are saying, who is this? The creature's appearance obviously has tentacles or tendrils forming an ear on top of their head with another ear here. They have a separate eye. They have 3 eyes, but one of them is like a Saturn type planet. They're holding up the earth, and then in the instant they punch and it goes boom. However, that was all fake. It was all fake. It was all fake. Let me explain. Should I blow it up, the earth? Should I blow it up, the planet? I mean Earth. I wish to be the one to judge. Judge the world for what it truly is. Should Earth be here? Now obviously this is all my own handwriting and stuff. But yeah, that little punch from before, that's fake. It's actually just this guy. Now let me explain his character design. He has basically 3 heads here. The top one is golden with headphones. The second one is happy with a winky face. And the third one is the actual main character's face. As you can clearly see, well, I would hope, there's a little wire, point towards the wire, holding up a replica, holding up a fake Earth with a wire. So imagine like it's just an orb and there's a string attached, and this whole thing was in his head with the people saying look up and all that, but actually just end up being this guy in his room. And you can see that here. People, animals, and then he just starts explaining everything on Earth, which he wishes to kind of have this control over, seeing the usefulness of it. And here he is, sitting on a pillow in his little cubby with his replica of Earth. It has replica little doll people, replica buildings, and he's basically playing house. And here you get to see his character design a lot more. He has tears on his design, kind of like Hisoka. He has kind of a, graphic shirt on, with some graphic pants as well. He has 3 heads and that. And this this is even more interesting. So obviously, Irrationally Irrational is not the story I'm trying to pitch for you guys today. It's something for the future, but for now, yeah, he's just maniacally, he's just laughing, and he has a character book. So he's made characters in his little book, and he's basically playing around with his own little replica Earth, okay? Now he's saying, I don't just play with dolls, I give life and make stories. What I do is real. Simulation 67. Go through book, pick a main character. He goes through his book, he picks one of his characters to be the main character. He's already had a lot of these fake characters. He's basically a writer. He's like a self-insert. And this is the character that he picked. This guy. He hates this guy. This is one of his characters that he doesn't like. Sigh. This is fine. I can work with this. Reintroducing Mr. T as the protagonist. And this is Mr. T. He's a little time guy. So, the original deal was to have Topman. It was to have a whole volume 1, the whole volume 1, and an additional comic. That was the original deal. And at the same time, you would also get a motion comic. That's a little bit of animation. A motion comic, a sneak peek of volume 2, a full album with at least 6 songs. Also, if you bring a friend or many to the Ko-fi to sub up, basically to spend a little bit of money, you get a free art commission. I thought that was a pretty good deal, and then later I backtracked and I made the money a little bit less by 1,000. And I had different tiers that you could go down. Additionally, I have tiers if we don't hit 2,500. Now, I didn't update it, but yeah, the new goal was basically 2,500 a month. And once that happened, I would post this regularly. So for 200 a month, I would post it weekly on WEBTOONs, but look. This didn't happen. And there's a whole new deal. I keep talking about it in each and every one of my videos. So you can go back and watch those videos. Anyway, I said thanks for reading. Consider subscribing to the monthly subscription so we can hit 3,500 per month within 4 months so the comic can continue. Commissions are open and all additional income is not linked to monthly sub, and we'll go into the next rap song for the series, which was going to be Farewell to Those Who Never Saw Stars. I'll put an end, like, you guys had 4 months and 1 week basically to hit that milestone. It didn't work out. I have another future video talking about it. But anyway, that's enough of the ad break, and let's get back into your daily programming, where we talk about episode 7. So obviously, we're starting off with the title again. Dear by MIGO. Pops, you're here. We're backtracking a little bit. Before he opened the door, and we saw the Pops. Now he's just opening the door again. And he sees his grandfather. He has a face of, basically a nonchalant face to start off with. Then he gets aggressively angry. You don't know yet. But that's supposed to be something you'll figure out as we continue the story. In this chapter, no less. But he gets angry and then he calms down with this type face. Anyway, and that's episode 7. Now for episode 8. Dear by MIGO. Oh, Topman, how was... And this is the grandfather. As you can see in the design, he has a little mask. He also has tiered chains. He has chains coming from one eyeball to the next, linked up. So he has chains in his eyeballs. He has little cat ears on top of his head. And he has his regular ears as well. He has an aura. He has an aura of eyeballs. He just has a fog of eyeballs following him behind his head. He's wearing a little fur coat. And there's going to be a better image later. Right now, you see that? I don't know if it's going to be here or here, but do you see that? Oh, Topman, how was... So remember, Topman's just finished his daily routine, his daily morning. And now the grandfather's going to ask how he is. But he coughs because he's really sick. And you can tell he's really sick. Because once he takes off his mask, his blood vessels just start popping out. He starts coughing and blood is splattering everywhere. And if you see his mouth, it's like dried blood. He doesn't even have a nose. It's just dried blood mixed with wood chipping off at his skin. And it's supposed to be a really disgusting sight. Look at his teeth as well. One of his teeth just fell off right there. And he has like only 2 left. As you can see, he is extremely sick. Anyway, sorry about that. Anyway, how was your sleep? I said anyway, and then I also said anyway in the story. Anyway, you can see a little bit more of his pattern. He has like these crosses, which you can also see on the staircase in episode 2 as well. But he's sitting on an eyeball. He has... On his shoe, those are ribcage shoes, okay? He's basically wearing a ribcage as a shoe or a sandal. He has he has baggy pants, which is also bloodied. As you can clearly see with the blood texture. And yes, he's sitting on an eyeball and he's saying, how was your sleep? In another teeth room, different from the one he woke up in. Anyway, did you sleep well? And he says, better than ever, grandfather. And he has that same box that he walked in with before. And then the grandfather tries to invite him, saying, would you like to watch the news with? And Topman slams that door right there, the door that he came from. So Topman's basically just done his morning routine, walked in to check on his grandfather. He got angry because of the condition which he's clearly in. He's clearly very sick and he's very annoyed at the fact that one of his loved ones has to suffer like this. And it's just a grotesque sight to see. So then he just walks out the door because he just can't take it anymore. He just can't take it anymore. Anyway, in the room, there's supposed to be a light source coming from above, but the pizza box here and Topman's arm kind of gets rid of it. But there's supposed to be a hole in the top, and when it shines onto the floor, it kind of resembles an eyeball. And as you can see, there is a bunch of teeth sprinkled all around the room. These wooden teeth and these bloodied floors and wooden floors. Gummy room. Anyway, moving on. We see Topman, once again, just walked out of the room. And the song was supposed to continue with like a chorus. Unfortunately, I did not hire the guy on Fiverr to give me the chorus. And therefore, we didn't get a chorus. But anyway, he just walks out of the room. And he rustles some paper in his hand that he had beforehand in his pocket. And from it reveals a map. It reveals a map, as you can see with the X marking the spot, the little compass, pinpoint right there. He's holding a map, okay? And then he starts packing. Now, once again, you as the audience don't know what's happening so far, but all you know, he's woken up, he's seen the condition, he's gone mad, and now he's walking out. Well, he's not, he's walked out the room, he's packing up his stuff Jan 2nd, because this story was supposed to take place over the course of 1 year. And you don't even know what happened on the first day. That's a mystery. Anyway, for now, for you guys. Anyway, Topman chose action. He looks up, and as you can see at the top, there's that little hole I was talking about before in another part of the house that shines down and has light coming from it. There's little pillars as he walks around this house. And though that's the moon. That's the moon. And you know the little holes in the moon, little crevices? Yeah, these claws, these blue claws are supposed to be ripping it. And you can see a text saying meow, which is a cat. Now you see the hole currently right now is displaying the moon. You'll know this, well you should know it, but the texture kind of went off a little bit. But that was supposed to be the moon symbol. And he's still looking up. So he's looking up in this panel to the circle. And then when you zoom in, it's the moon there through the circle hole. And he's still looking up at it. Anyway, the sleeping dog became a cloud. And as you can see, he's clearly packed his bags. Okay, he's walking through his hallways. He sees eyeballs in the hallways. He's packed up, and now he's like, he's shocked, right? You can see with this expression. And before you is a new character saying, "Hi, Topman, you seem to be in a hurry." And I'm not sure if you guys have noticed, but this episode is a lot longer than the previous ones. They've been getting longer. Excuse me. But yeah, as we can see, we see a bunny. Anyway, you guys can see a bunny, which seems to be in a jar. His head is in a jar for 50% off. And he's in a spacesuit. A golden bunny. Hey, Topman, you seem to be in a hurry. And this is clearly something which is shocking Topman. Now, this is a new character, so let me explain what's happened so far. It's walked through, and now let's continue. Yeah, that wasn't much to explain. Anyway, Topman, what seems to be the matter? You seem out of it. So these characters clearly know each other. But Topman clearly didn't expect the bunny to be in front of the door that he's just walking to. Because as you can see, Topman here is walking towards the door. He gets shocked, and in front of him is his bunny friend. Anyway, now the bunny friend is in front of Topman again, standing up, saying, "You seem out of it." And here, we see a little vision of what Topman wants. A four-eyed cat. Now, this is going to be really important because this is the goal of the story. Basically, the One Piece, but it's like a little vision of what Topman wants. He's just seeing it as he says, "You seem to be out of it." And Topman is thinking of this cat. If you remember before, when Topman was looking up at the moon, let me go back. When Topman was looking up at the moon, there was a meow. There was a meow when he looked up at the moon. which clearly, well, it was supposed to be cat claws covering the moon or scratching at the moon. And there's a meow. And he's very clearly looking at the moon. And then he's thinking back to a cat. Anyway, introduction to the bunny character is the spirit of the bunnies, which haunts the halls. Obviously, if you've seen the first video, you would know what I'm talking about. But if you haven't seen it, you're clueless. You're missing out. Go check out the other video. Anyway, his name is Crook. He's a little bunny. And then here we go. The main plot, the main motivation for the main character. I'm off to find the Earth Lucky Cat. I'm off to find the Earth Lucky Cat. And then, boom. Gotta be one of my favorite art pieces I've done. You know, not in some time, but I just haven't had the motivation to draw like this, but in a while. But as you can clearly see, yeah, that is the main thing we're trying to find. Now let me explain some character designs here. So firstly, with the rabbit, his head is set for his ears are inside of a jar, which is 50% off. On his back, he has some kind of oxygen tank, and he's wearing a spacesuit. Tommen is still in his PJs as he's ready to go off. The Earth Lucky Cat is done in this type of format. So there's obviously a Moon Lucky Cat, but we're looking for the Earth Lucky Cat. But you wouldn't know that yet. You wouldn't know that. And then you see the Lucky Cat. The Lucky Cat has a little bandana on his neck, which is forming an image of a skull. It's a yellow cat with some blue features. Little pieces of earrings on there. This is the Space Lucky Cat. Because there's the moon in the background. It has two purple faces to the side of it. Two little purple faces to the side. It's wearing a little bit of jewelry on its arms, along with its earpieces. And it's clearly a very magical, supernatural being. I really like the art for that one. Anyway, next, we got a lot of text, we got a lot of talking, we got a lot of talking. Sorry, I thought the video was getting a little bit boring. Anyway, we got a lot of talking. Throughout the heavens and the skies exists a being known as the Lucky Cat on the moon. Clear as day. So it's basically very public knowledge that there is a cat on the moon. Okay? Named the Lucky Cat. Okay, you see how I always change the text when we're talking about the Lucky Cat? Because it's very clearly a very important aspect of the story. But this is Topman talking. But some believe one exists on the planet. If this existed, your deepest desire could be reality. But there is no such proof. And then, this is a little zoom in of what's happening behind him. So it's basically a scene which is like, he's right behind me, isn't he? As he's talking to the bunny straight in front of him about the Lucky Cat. Now, very clearly, the Lucky Cat's ability, as stated here, is your deepest desire could be reality. But anyway, we go through this panel of someone sneaking up behind Topman, to once again him sneaking up behind Topman, to once again him getting closer until it's to the back of his head, and then Topman turns around. And you can see his scars and his blood spots very clearly. But he turns around, and behind him is the snake spirit. The snake spirit from before. And then he's obviously very chill. He says, I swear, Topman, I never know what's up with you. Now, the snake guy he has his arm around Topman, has his other arm here. He's basically way too close to Bo, clearly showing a little bit of familiarity. He has a basket over his head. He has the long, teeth of a snake. He has a giant snake strapped to the back of him. And here's a better view. The spirit of the snake, and his name is Mook. He has a snake strapped to the back of him. He's dressed in red. And, that seems to be his design. And then, obviously, we have Crook here. Crook in his space uniform. And these two are spirits. In any case, what's the bag for? Vacation to the living room? They don't know Bo's trying to leave from here. As Topman states, I'm serious, guys. With a little bit of a smile. Every day, there's more people walking past, talking about some power. Rumors that the Lucky Cat has been spotted on Earth. And if I can get a wish from it, then I can cure my grandfather. He's doing a little Super Saiyan pose here as he's talking in front of the two other spirits. Now the positions have changed. Topman is now the one closest to the door. So it's clearly done a little bit of a spin as he's standing in front of the door while the two spirits are talking at him. This is still in the same hallway. As you can see, all of the eyes still on the wall. Anyway, next we have another person walking up. Cure the witch's curse with a magic cat. Yeah, this guy is walking up. First you see his legs, his little bit of a torn pants, and his furry legs. And then he shows up, the last spirit, Book. The last spirit to appear. The spirit of the bears. Clearly walking up in front of the other two, showing off his superiority with his way bigger stature and taking up a lot more of the screen. And now all three spirits have faced Topman. You still don't know about their relationship or anything as a viewer. But I was hoping this would cause a little bit of dramatization into the minds of the viewers who are like, yo, this is sick. You're meeting the rest of the spirits. You're meeting new characters for the first time. Next is episode 11. Obviously, we start off with the title again. Now you guys know that this is the Lucky Cat. So now I can go over the design of the Lucky Cat. Chill. Now I can go over the design of the Lucky Cat even more. Because now you guys know that the guy who was always on the title is the Lucky Cat. So the Lucky Cat has two little heads orbiting its head. It has a bandana, which has a skull on it. It has multiple, I want to say huge blue bracelets going over its arms and one over its tail, and it has no legs. It's like a spirit from Danny Phantom. And it has a little earring here. Now, I kind of like this. I was trying out new things on Procreate. Anyway, don't be so sure of yourself, Topman. Obviously referring to the fact that he said he was going to go off and find the Lucky Cat. And then Topman talks back saying, I'm as sure as I'll ever be. Maybe, probably. Very unsure of himself. But, yeah, they're facing off each other. You see? And now we're going to use character bubbles to show which characters are speaking. So this is the snake speaking. And it says, what about your training? We're only halfway done. Showing off that these three are the mentors. These are the spirit mentors who are training Topman. What about your training? We're only halfway done. And then Topman says, forget about it. His condition is getting way worse by the... And then the rabbit pops in saying, good enough for me. Magic cat, which is all that. Just hope you know what you're doing. And it has the 50% off still on the character box. And then the bear is the last one to show off, showing his superiority and his leadership over the other two. But the other two are just like, he got this then. Let's go. And then the other two poof away with these little poofs that you can see in the same hallway as well. And then the bear says, Topman, so this is the only way. Clearly questioning Topman again, wishing that he made a better decision. But Topman only says, only way I can think of. With the bear being the last person. So this is all from Topman's POV. We are looking through this from Topman's perspective. Now, I will admit I have messed up the viewing a little bit, because once again, Topman is the one looking at the door rather than being behind the door. But, so the characters are walking, they're talking, they're standing. The only way I can think of, and then it's the last poof. And now there's no more obligation, there's no more barriers between Topman and the door. With the last spirit poofing. So now Topman is looking down. Well, you got here fast. This is some anime shit right here, guys. He's looking down. He's like, you got here fast. Naturally. And then the grandfather pulls up. And then the grandfather pulls up. I mean, just look. Just look at the art, guys. I mean, just take a look. I mean, you can see on the screen, right? But just take a look at the artwork being presented here. The grandfather just pulled up after the spirits ran away. So those roadblocks are gone. The spirits who were doubting him are gone. And now the only one left is his grandfather. Thank you for reading there. This is clearly supposed to be some type of final stand, in a way. So now, we have Topman once again, still standing in front of his grandfather, but we just see him in the frame. Topman, it's too late for all this ruckus. And that's the grandfather talking right now. And what's with the bags? You look pale. You okay, Topman? So, yeah, from that alone, you can tell that the grandfather has no idea what's been going on. He doesn't know about the ghost. He's just talking about ruckus. He doesn't know what's going on. All he knows is that Topman's been making a lot of noise. And there's suddenly random bags that he's pulling. And then you see one of the bags right there. It was the bear, snake, and rabbit I was talking to. But I don't think I'll see them again, grandfather. And then Topman's here, basically still looking down like... It was the bear, snake, and rabbit I was talking to. But I don't think I'll see them again, grandfather. And then the grandfather snaps. Those little chains in his eyes that we always saw before broke off. They snapped off. And then, you know, you see snap. I thought that was pretty cool. Anyway, he tries to calm down because clearly that wasn't voluntary. He clearly just snapped once he heard bear, rabbit, and snake. And obviously, if you saw the first video, you would know why. But anyway, sorry, dearest apologies, Topman. And then you can see his little thought bubble here. And the thought bubble is actually a snake. if you can see this, the shape, it's a snake, and within it are bunny ears and bear ears. And the grandfather says, it's the curse. That's why he snapped so suddenly. And he says, I had a bear, rabbit, and snake growing up. Those guys are all dead. And that's the big reveal. That's why the spirits are here. Obviously, you can also see that the aura of eyeballs which was following him are now blood red, dripping blood from their eyes. And in the grandfather's little eyes, you can see that his eyes have more pupils and eyeballs within his eyes. Sorry, that was hard to get out. Jeez. Anyway, Topman then walks closer and says they send their regards, all of them, because he was talking to those spirits. And now it's time for this. 19XX, because we don't know the year so far. The last time I had flesh as skin before wood. This is the grandfather talking. I don't remember where I was going, or what my pets looked like. Just a void, a white void. This is the grandfather in the past. With a strange, with the vague noises of a bear, snake, and rabbit surrounding me. It was all just a feeling. So this basically confirms that the grandfather barely even knows that he used to have pets, or barely even knows what happened before the curse got to him. All he remembers is his white void. And in the design, you can see that he was a little, sailor. He used to have little fry hair. And the chain that you see in his eyeballs was actually around his neck. Now that's actually just to show you, Case, that it's the same character design. Because clearly they look super different. One's cursed and one is just a normal kid. Anyway, he said it was all just a feeling. He doesn't remember, but he just has a feeling and heard vague noises of his pets. And here, in this image, you can see those same pet spirits surrounding Topman. This is once again within the grandfather's mind. So this image of all of the animals surrounding Topman, this is just like one of those little, I don't know what you would call it in anime, like a little realization moment. It's just a little realization moment, basically, of the animals now surrounding Topman. And as you can see here, he was in the right void. It's like a little comparison, Anyway, this is the grandfather's monologue, and as he says, one day Topman was talking to himself for some reason. I had that feeling again. He had that same feeling when Topman was talking to himself. But clearly, he wasn't talking to himself. He was talking to the spirits. And he had the same feeling that the spirits were his pets. Let me explain that again, okay? So as a kid, he doesn't even remember anything. All he had was strange, vague noises of a bear, snake, and rabbit surrounding him. All he remembers is the void with slight noises. It was all just a feeling of the past. And he had that same feeling when Topman one day started talking to himself. But he wasn't talking to himself, he was talking to the spirits, which is why that feeling came back. And then Topman yells out as the grandfather is having this realization moment. Topman just yells, I wish to leave this household. Except I misspelt it. My bad. And then the grandfather gets a little bit mad and he says, Topman, as I said, it's too late for all this nonsense. My animals are dead. And have been for decades. And for me, I'll let nature take its course. So basically, he's saying, Don't go off. Do not go and save me, Topman. I am okay with dying to this horrible curse which keeps deteriorating my body. And you're about to find out right here. But if you watch the other video, that's all I'm going to say. But clearly the design here, you can see he's a little bit mad because of all this noise and ruckus that's been going on all night. Okay. So it went from his morning routine and now it's nighttime. Went from morning routine where he woke up, got himself ready, got himself dressed, took a bath, walked into his grandfather's room, saw his conditions, and then walked out. And then later during that day, he packs up, he views his map, he walks out, he talks to the spirits, he convinces them to let him go and do his own thing. They disperse, and then Topman goes ahead and tries to walk out the door again. His grandfather shows up because of all the noise he was making with the spirits. And now the grandfather's having that same realization that Topman might have been talking to the spirits. And now Topman wants to leave. Anyway, moving on. This is his justification. I had an amazing child, a baby girl. And here you can see the family. This is the grandfather. This is the mother, the daughter, the baby girl, he says. And this is Topman. This is just a visualization. It's not actually happening. But that's the mother, that's Topman, and that's the grandfather. My biggest mistake was letting her go off to do the very thing you're trying to do. I'm done letting people die for me. Wife, child, pet, no more, and definitely not you. So that tells you that his wife died to save him from the curse. His child, his daughter, died trying to save him from the curse. And his pets died trying to save him from the curse. And these are the pets sitting on one of the tree branches outside of the house. So they're just sitting on the outside of the house currently right now, listening in from the conversation. They didn't just poof and go to nowhere. They poofed and they're just listening in from afar. And they're all very happy. They're all smiling that Topman's finally making the decision to leave and go save the grandfather again. Now then, this is the final bit. As the grandfather says, "Please go upstairs, Topman," as he raises his fist, not wanting his grandchild to go out and fight for him. The only person he's been talking to for the past 19 years. He raises his fist. And obviously, as you can see with this design, again, his body, just his sheer skin is dripping off. But in his hand, which is fisted, pause, he's actually hardening the wood because it's a whole different texture and it has this whole different aura about it. So he's actually hardening his fist because this time he's prepared to take drastic measures to stop someone from going out and dying for him, because clearly a lot of people have died for him. So he's not going to let any more people die for him. So he raises up his fist, gets ready to fight, and then Topman stands there, posed, as you get the first decision. Now, this says number 1 over here because it's the first decision that you make. But choose to go upstairs or discuss further. And that is the first choice you actually get to make. And that, my friends, is chapter 1 of the demo. Now I've finally reacted to this story, my own story. Please, if you did like what you saw, my story has dramatically increased. My style, my composition work, everything I've done dramatically increased. It's not even close. I promise you, it's not even close anymore. The way I used to draw before compared to the way I draw now, the way I used to do my dialogue before, but compared to now. Remember, I did this comic back in 2024, I believe. It's 2025. I've had over a year of change after I first made this. Or I've had a year of change, but after I first made this. And I'm ready to do it again. I'm ready to do it again with some support. So if you do like the demo, let me know. Let's all join together. And finally, let me give you the actual criteria, because last time I wanted £3,500 per month, but now that's all changed. Now I just need like 40k followers. Not even 40k, like really. I just need you guys to come here, like maybe a couple thousand, and we'll just work together. The idea of Dear has dramatically just expanded, but beyond a choose your own story. There's so much plot now, so much characters, and I will be posting 3 little videos detailing the comic afterwards. But for now, just know, everything has changed for the better. I can't stress enough how much I want to showcase the story. I cannot even comprehend how much more I want to showcase the story. And how much your support would dramatically just change everything. Not only in my life, but I feel like my story at the current moment in time has the potential to change so many other people's lives. But that's all subjective. But all I need from you guys is to go to the Google form and just support. Join the email list. It costs nothing. It's barely even a minute of your time gone. And you can support me. Thank you so much. And I'll see you guys in the next video. As I said in the beginning, there will be no more episode recaps because they're just not getting enough views right now. So yeah, love you guys.